So, hello and welcome back to another episode of EU4. We're of course playing with the Anbennar fantasy mod as Plumstead, as we're kind of cleaning up the northern area. But of course we are a little bit stuck on governing capacity now. We're also trying to make our vessel happy, which is not that difficult to achieve. I could technically just do that now if we wanted. You know what? I'm not using this prestige for anything, so we might as well. Here you go. So we have some more stuff to read through. let's start with a sneeze. Yeah, sure. Alright. Let's first do this one because this is fairly useless. The University of the Dame has grown to be one of the most prestigious universities of the world and the most prestigious in the Yin. It is now time to turn our auxiliary campuses and other affiliate universities into fully independent universities with their own fields of expertise and their own culture. Only by embracing the difference between the different universities can we achieve greatness and unravel the world. Only by creating a league of universities can we ensure that the greatest minds get everything they need to achieve greatness and make discoveries and inventions beyond our wildest dreams. This just gives me 50 years of institution spread, which is not that impressive really, because you only have one institution popping up. I'm also not sure why it had to be specified that cafe is not part of this, but I guess. One people, we came from far, very far. We once started as the Plumwall Expedition Society and have now grown to be the strongest and wisest and most prosperous realm in the Anbennar Expanse and the Yin. We are a union of ruin-born and human, of pastures and orchards, of pastoralists and homesteaders. We are Plumsteaders. One people. The creeks flow slowly and the town awakes. A mother brings her still sleepy child to school, already late as the bells ring. A group of miners are heard laughing as they pack their equipment, and a ranger prepares its horse for a long ride across the plains. A group of students, hangover as they may be, drag themselves to their classes while a politician runs to the local assembly hall, papers and tea in hand. Two elderly folks, a human and a Anbennar, reside on a bench overlooking the orchards and the fields in which their sons and daughters work to provide like they did once. They smile and even let a tear flow as to what they had built is now enjoyed by many. Life is peaceful and good in Plumstead. Born out of hard labor and struggle, this nation sits atop a hill of peace in a sea of war and strife. It is Plumstead where people go to live and learn to enjoy the fruits of their hard labor and to make something out of themselves. Two men, a human and a Anbennar, then set themselves up on a field across from the old folks. They are holding an archery contest and not wanting to miss it, the two old men drag their bench a bit closer. One takes out a bottle of plum brandy, worn and brittle from countless refills to enjoy. The two archers, skilled as they are in the Damirian longbows, tie. They laugh and shake each other's hands. The old folks applaud the two and invite them for a glass of brandy, which they, of course, cannot resist. They enjoy their drinks, and the old folks tell stories of yore. Life is peaceful and good in Plumstead. This doesn't do anything! Could it be that this is all like kind of tied to my technocracy or something? I don't think so, because it doesn't say anything specific. This is still one of my biggest complaints about this mission tree, that I have so many missions that just don't do anything. That feels bad. That feels very bad. Alright. Let's wait until this furnace is ready. For this we of course need to wait for the modifier to go away. Oshia continues getting some stuff. This is done soon. Alright. We're also currently building a navy as far as I remember. Alright. And we do have a little bit to do. We also have, alright, we also have all of these stupid loans to repay. We just take down rest reduction. We should be like we're long beyond that. There we go. Let's finish that up. Preparations and funding. With our researchers, while our researchers are working around the clock to find out where the dome of the Protosata originally stood, another group should prepare for the physical research. We must prepare an expedition by training men for the possibly long and dangerous journey. Besides that, food needs to be prepared via the preservation and equipment needs to be bought or produced. While expensive, the benefits should, according to our expectations, far exceed the costs of this expedition. So stock up and get the men ready to set off. Just a little bit of money, and we do some units, and we get a modifier for a while. Then we get another event chain, I assume. Let's quickly get these guys back in action. We are getting closer towards the supply increase. So there's that at least. Oh, yeah, then it's also part of the coalition now. Maybe this is gonna be a bit longer than expected, this coalition. Oh well. This is something that I want to check. I would take an admin idea group, right? Infrastructure. Feels like something I would do. Let's quickly take this one away so that we have... I'm not wasting points. We can take someone else in. I'm still kind of sad that these guys don't switch cultures, but I guess these were from these guys, so we can't do anything. Alright, let's quickly take this before we do all of that. I mean, we don't really need anything military-wise. I feel like just taking infrastructure ideas. Dev cost reduction. It's a bit late, I know that. We don't need more money, we have plenty of money. We're also converting well enough, so nothing to complain about there. So, we will need, well, a lot. The chairman of the Committee of Adventure Affairs seemed unimpressed by the answer given to him by Captain Avery. And rightly so, as requests by adventurers to support expeditions were revised with extreme care and a very critical mindset. Squandering the resources of Plumstead is not on the agenda, Mr. Avery. And so I advise you to come up with a more detailed and complete report regarding the needs of this expedition. Remember that it is the reputation of Professor Tierfon and the support of the Reverend Church are the reasons this proposal is reviewed at all. Strict and perhaps overly bureaucratic, the chairman further informed Captain Avery that he had to give them a report from Professor Typhon about the research progress, alongside a list of gear and goods necessary to make such an expedition. A bit frustrated, Avery agreed and went to Professor Typhon for help. Together they came up with a report which was perhaps a bit exaggerated regarding how far they were in their research, though by no means short or incomplete. Just don't tell them about those worms living on the other side of the mountains, or they might think we're worm food already. Typhon instructed. They also created a list of materials, goods, and gear that they suspected was needed for a long journey. You do realize that we had asked them for a small army, right? You're asking for multiple regiments of men, and on top of that a lot of food and equipment to keep those men going. Ari said with a hefty amount of doubt. Yet Typhon was unwavering, as it wasn't really necessary to go with such a force, else they might fail on the way to the vault. A few days later, Avery returned to the committee with a report and a list. Thank you, Mr. Avery. The committee will now review your report, and after that we may ask a few questions to clear up any questions or things which are not clear to us. Nervous, Avery waited outside for what seemed like days. Finally, after a few hours, he was called back into the committee room and presented with a verdict. The committee had decided to fully fund that. Whatever. We have now been spending ridiculous amounts of money anyway. We might as well spend more ridiculous amounts of money. Who cares? Oh, now we're gonna get another array of stuff, I guess. 50 barrels of salted meat, a big barrel of salt, 70 barrels of salted fish, dried tobacco, dried plums, dried crackers, 12 crates with jars of vegetable and beef stock, pickaxes, 3 wagons loaded with gunpowder and ammunition. No less than that 7 crates of spare nails for the wagons, and so on and so on and on and on. Ari and Millen looked at the list that they had been given by Vincent. Being a former army logistician and old buddy of Avery, Vincent had been quick to volunteer for the expedition, as it would not only allow him to go on a big adventure, but also give him a reason to come out of his early retirement. A tall yet skinny man and a mustache which would impress even the mightiest of dwarfs. Vincent was old army stock, a Ross field through and through, perfect for an expedition on a scale this big. Millen, however, had some questions regarding the funding, as a lot of these things were not on the list that the committee had been given, to which Ari replied. On the bottom of our report is stated that in case the committee agrees that we can make additional costs deemed necessary by a qualified expert on logistics. Vincent gave a smirk. He knew Avery and his antics, a truly cunning and shrewd adventurer captain. Vincent then continued inspecting and reusing the list in case there were some other additional costs. This whole thing turned from a nation into just like adventures of these goofy guys. I would call that. Alright, finally finishing this stuff up. We're also going to... well, okay, there we go. Lovely, so we can actually do something again. Remember that we cannot guarantee your return. We will go where almost nobody has gone for eons, and those who did never live to tell the tale. Avery was stern in his speech, for if these men, a motley crew of explorers and inventors, were going into the unknown, they should at least know the risks. You will each be assigned to a wagon and will have to fulfill responsibilities over it. If something is broken, you fix it. If something has to be replaced, you will either replace it yourself or you will ask for it. The men nodded. Most of these men and women had been on multiple adventures in their lives and knew the risks. They never had the experience an expedition like this. The scale and the danger of this expedition was unparalleled and had caused multiple folks to abandon the expedition before it even started. Yet at the end of the day, hundreds of volunteers had presented themselves to Captain Avery. They now had a large pool of manpower for the expedition. They finally had the expeditionary force. Okay. Let me just quickly spend some points while we're at it. I also like that this expedition is so expensive that it's completely throwing a nation's wealth around. Right? It's a bit ridiculous, not gonna lie. Who's this young man? Half-orc. Typhon stood here inspecting the half-orc for any weapons when Avery replied. He's our cook. Typhon Everett, the academic, dismissed the idea of needing a cook immediately, calling it frivolity which would only distract from getting to the vault. Avery replied, Sir, we are going on a large journey through inhospitable land. Inhospitable terrain and across mountains as high as the firmament, you are going to need a cook who can make a good meal to keep the men happy. Besides, if anybody knows how to make a lot of food with limited resources, it's Biscuit. Biscuit? Typhon looked almost mortified when he heard the name of the half-orc. Avery explained. He got his nickname from the soldiers who adopted him when he was just a little urchin. He was trying to steal their biscuits, but instead of punishing him for it, they just made them a kitchen help in their fort where he learned to cook and fight. Biscuit smiled and reassured the professor that he was good, good for the expedition. They only needed Typhon's approval. Okay, we're just gonna get the fucking gang together, and I can tell you that the gang will be completely meaningless. I already know that. A massive crowd gathered at the entrance to the fort. From here, an expedition would go deep into the mountains to find the supposedly largest vault of the precursors in existence. It would be a rough expedition. Many were not expected to return, but those who did would return with riches and knowledge unfathomable. They would go into history as members of the greatest expedition Alan T had ever seen. Captain Avery, being a true leader, would sit at the front on his trusted steed. Behind him came a few wagons of trusted adventurers, followed by the wagons of Professor Typhon and research assistant student Milan. Their wagon was unlike those of the others, more or less a mobile research station with dozens of papers, books, maps and other items of interest, all to help them to get to the world. They were followed by a large group of wagons filled with food, mining equipment, and the wagons of specialists like miners, engineers, map makers, doctors and even a few cooks. At the end was a large progression of adventurers and explorers who had volunteered for the expedition, who would do the most of the hard labor, like building and makeshift bridges over creeks, pushing and pulling carts over steep slopes and taking care of the horses. The expedition was ready to go, with only one question remaining. Did we pack enough food, or are we sure we are are we sure of our route? So just a few less modifiers, but we can continue with this stuff. And we do need to get everyone loyal with this. What was it? Mages? Oh god. Mages and artificers. Okay, artificers we can make loyal, but mages we need to do some stuff for. Reduce research regulations doesn't do anything. I guess we need to give them the monopoly on Dame's tier, right? 45? Yeah, we need to. Well, it's not much, really. But let's wait until these guys are high enough, then we can just sell titles. Bada bing, bada boom. One last expedition. Everything is ready, pots have been filled, barrels loaded up on the carts, equipment checked and stored. Our men have been trained for this, a last expedition, and want to hopefully remember for the ages. We will find the fabled vault of the Protosarda and its content. Don't fall behind, and if you do wanna have one of your wagons rush forward to warn us. Now whatever you do not traverse away from the caravan, else you will get lost and most likely die. Captain Avery, stern and clear in his words, stepped onto his wagon onto the front and had his lieutenant tout the horn to signal their departure. And so a wagon caravan of about 100 wagons went on its way towards the slopes, towards the vault. Armed not only with weapons, but with knowledge and enthusiasm, the caravan passed the final vestiges of civilization beyond the Plumstead realm and beyond the Anbennar lands. There would from now on be no more outposts, no more refuel stations, only mountains and the unknown. This is where the adventures truly started, the last expedition. Sure. I assume that we're going here. That's the only kind of mountains that I know. I've dug every kind of stone, in every corner of the world. I once started in my home hold in Silverforge, though I have since then called many holds my home. Proud of his accomplishment, Fimbo showed his large collection of rocks. And look at this collection. A stone from each dwarven hold in existence. Or at least most of them. His companion, Dr. Bitter, a medical doctor and expert in industrial and mining related injuries, smiled. Forgive my dwarven friend for his enthusiasm on rocks. It may not be the most riveting of topics, but I can assure you that he can indeed dig through every obstacle on the way to the vault. The two men further introduced themselves to Avery, Typhon, and Melon, and explained why they wanted to join the expedition. I feel like this should have happened before we leave, yeah. We have for a long time traveled from mining town to mining town, and even though Fimbo's expertise in mining and knowledge and remedying mining related accidents brought us to good income, we do crave more adventure. Seeing you call for adventures, we simply couldn't say no and hope you agree. Sure. So the coalition is still in order, right? Yeah, these guys are still in. I want to attack Temaria. How are we looking on the boats, actually? We're still waiting for some more. I mean, we still need a lot of transport ships, don't we? Scorpion, the scout shouted while running back to the slope to warn the rest. Are we gonna have, like... If this is just gonna be like every fucking single thing that happens here is gonna be a text, I'm gonna be very upset. A group of a dozen massive scorpion-like creatures as big as wyverns rushed down to get him and the rest of the caravan. Immediately they meant to shoot at the beasts, but to no avail. Their bodies were somehow impenetrable to gunfire and panic ensued. Oren, knowing of these crawlers, immediately ran to his wagon along with Milon, where he opened a crate with 2 personally modified guns. These weapons shoot a bullet containing a special acid to burn their protective skin. Don't waste the bullet and aim for the heads. In the meanwhile, the creatures caused havoc among the men, bodies were thrown through the air and were pierced by the large stingers, and some had their arms or legs severed clean by the large claws. On Oren's orders, they had the beasts walk towards him and Milon, who then proceeded to shoot them down one by one. In the end, they got them all, though not without losing around 20 or 30 men. On a positive note, these beasts are edible and taste like chicken, just don't eat the stinger. I mean, I guess it is a lot of lore input. If I ever want to run a campaign around here. Sure. There's still a little bit left, and they are still a little bit keen on staying. Valor Point is also still in it. Eodan is still in it. I don't have the space currently to really conquer that much. So I'm not crazy on conquering. I do have a lot of things to read. Riding along the sandbags for days, the men had frequently reported seeing the sand shift and move. Avery was dismissive of it, as sandworms didn't live in the mountains. Oren, on the other hand, was not so sure. Though he had never encountered them, he could see the creatures end up here, even if it was just a lone one. After a few days, they had passed the sandbank's edge. Just before it was out of sight, Avery saw something. A little sandworm crab jumping across the sand. Perhaps those men weren't crazy after all. Of course, it's a desert place. There must be a sandworm, right? Every fantasy world needs a big old worm that swims through sand. It's the law. So, at least all of the cores are now done. We have a shit ton of... No, we're not even done yet. Jesus Christ! There's too many events happening. Whether it is because Avery had not been paying attention or because Typhon was not the best, where it comes to giving directions in a clear and concise manner. The party took the wrong turn. This led to them walking into a large canyon filled with strange, oversized eggs. These eggs seemed to be of the large scorpion-like creatures that roam the mountains. They couldn't turn the wagons without disturbing the local fauna, and so pressed on through the canyon. They were lucky, and at the end of the canyon they saw that the canyon had the shape of a semicircle, and that if they followed the slope they would return to the path they originally had to take, albeit with a few days delay. Yeah, we're gonna just go for a full-on story narrative on that. Canals and tunnel pikes. I know that one. Sure. Sure, I don't mind that. Let me get rid of all of these thingies, then we can continue. Colonial range. There's a lot of Diplo reputation, guys, for some reason. Antier's land filled with a large variation of flora, and these mountains are so different. Are no different. When they got up to the canyon, they could immediately smell them. Large mushrooms puffing out spores whenever something touched them. Not knowing whether they were intoxicating or hallucinogenic, the party leadership ordered the men to not touch them and to bind the handkerchief in front of their faces to keep the spores out. They slowly passed the mushrooms, yet for some reason somebody had to touch them anyway. A ruckus was heard and Avery ran to the back of the wagon train where he found a group of men lying to the ground, laughing uncontrollably. Amongst them was a naturalist who had been unable to curb his curiosity and had tried to sample a bit of the mushrooms, releasing its spores. The men were taken to one of the infirmary wagons, and one after the other they recovered. They explained that for some reason everything they saw or heard became extremely funny to them, which explained their uncontrollable laughter. But for the naturalist there was not a lot to laugh about. He had suffocated to his laughter, having taken a humongous dose of the spores. Humongous. Adventurers defeat bandits. What kind of expedition is that? An excess of plums. There we go. Money for the loans. Let me just quickly do that. We have plenty more. We do also still have now this to buy down. We have a lot. Wait a second. Wellstone Farm, Imperial Mint. Okay. I guess I know where my inflation is coming from. Let's also accept that running. He just stood there, waving at Avery. Approaching the strange individual, Avery took out his sword and warned the man not to come closer. The man, who seemed to be a human, did so anyway and reduced himself to Avery. Well, hello, young man. I see that you have come with a large group looking for the vault, I suppose. A bit startled? Avery nodded. Well, good luck then. I haven't been able to find it in all these years, and you probably won't either. Just make sure that you keep your senses and don't get lost. Before Avery could even react, the strange man walked off again and disappeared. It seemed like some had tried to find the vault before them and had lost both the trail and their sanity. Luckily, it was harmless, though a bit strange. I see. We're not gonna kill anybody. I can easily spend oh, Jesus Christ, look at our prestige. Run! They could barely get away when the cart exploded. For some reason, a fuse on the gunpowder cart had suddenly gone alit, and its men barely made it out alive. Fearing sabotage, the party halted to investigate. They searched the wreckage and found the supposed perpetrator, a small crate filled with glass. These had probably reflected the sunlight upon an exposed fuse, causing it to slowly heat and then go ablaze. A freak accident, though a good lesson for the party who continued to expect the other wagons to prevent such an accident from occurring once more. I mean, it kind of is alright that I currently don't have anything to fight as well, so it fits. It somewhat fits. Now we should just push it downward. If we do it, we will risk a landslide, you fool. No, we won't. Yes, we will. The two arguing how to get a large rock off the path did not budge, but very sure of their preferred method. Both are very sure of their preferred method. Fimbert, both with almost 100 years of mining experience, was convinced that the boulder would just roll down without taking the path along, while the chief engineer feared that the soil was too loose and would move along with the boulder, creating a hole in the path. Tired of the two, Vincent lit his pipe, took a barrel of gunpowder, and walked to the boulder and planted the barrel next to a crack. Are you mad? The two arguing men said. Yet before they could try to stop him, Vincent lit a fuse and calmly walked to back to the carriages. Hold your horses, cover your ears. A large blast followed, and a big boulder split, creating a path for the wagons to reverse through. All the while, Fimber and the chief engineer just stood there, perhaps a bit ashamed, as Vincent's solution was brutish, though effective. It was. My voice is gonna be fucking ruined after this again. Oh, finally. I fear these thingy sessions now every time. Well damn, the party stood up before Lake Taspasu where the vault was supposed to be. Captain Avery stood before the shore and threw a rock into the water out of frustration. Where's that damned vault? It should be right here, but all we found was this lousy lake. Feeling defeated, the party set up their camp, and it was as going back empty-handed was a no-go. While scouting the area, a few men stumbled upon a strange monolith protruding from the lake. It was irregularly rectangular and seemed to be decorated with gilded carvings. Ty Van Millen decided to inspect the strange monolith and had made a baffling discovery. The vault which I had been looking for was indeed here, though there was a small problem. The entrance was located underwater. Mixed feelings gripped the party leadership as they had indeed found the vault, though it seemed to be inaccessible. They immediately sent a message to Payahubi with a question how to get into the vault. How are you sending a message back? Aren't you like miles away? In the world or whatever. Sure. How angry are these guys? Angry-ish. Can I? I would need to enforce religion on them, right? Yeah, and would be a lot because they're old son. Okay. I'm actually not like even feeling like I'm currently playing this game, I have to admit. Currently it feels like I'm just doing something completely different. I think I'm not gonna take this. Now we have to finally have the big one. Do we have enough money for that? Corruption, conscription, then just one more, local autonomy. Oh, no, God damn it. No, not admin. Yeah, diplo support is alright. Maybe the extra money is gonna help us out. And there the master recruiter goes. So. Level 3. We only have one level 3 available. And we do need a bit more money to actually get him to right level. Just one more. So, what are we looking here? Yes, we want that back. We don't need that. I guess we don't need that. No, we don't need that at the moment. Oh, we can finally get the last thingy. Lovely. Oh no, we don't. Oh, we're still not done. Okay, advisor cost. Minimum autonomy territories. Free diplo policy. I assume that I have a free diplo policy available. There's an improved relation here. There is a global trade here. So that's nice. I wonder if I should have actually changed something here. We have advisor cost and unrest. I mean, we don't really need that much conquest. So maybe I'll just take the idea cost reduction. Yeah, you know what? I'll take the idea cost reduction for now. Until we have everything done. Siege ability, trade efficiency, movement speed. Yeah, that's alright. And this actually makes this cheap enough to be taken right away. Lovely. Military again. So, I still kind of am waiting for this coalition to drop, because I want to continue my conquest. Despite not having no governing capacity, I would like to clean this up. But I guess in the meantime I at least can get my boats together. Let's get you to 40. So, that should be it for now. Because as soon as we take this tech, we will have put every army to 40. Okay. Simple as. Do we do this as well? No, I want to get the infrastructure ideas now. What are you guys doing? You're just angry. 300. Not bad. How much level limit do we have now? 3,475. We are still not on the top right, yeah. There's someone else who is dancing on that. Good old command. I don't see much changes here. There we go, expand infrastructure if we ever do that. Currently we don't really have the reason to do it. Sure, some money. Oh, so we get some more dudes. Sure. Halflings or... Halflings? Okay, halflings are fully accepted. Cabinet cooperation, lovely. That's nice. Oh, we do have one of these. I guess we'll just do the combat stuff now. And we already mentioned that this is a rather strange arrangement of army that I have here, but so be it. 5 more loans. Soon enough I will I will once again start paying actually build for buildings. I'm looking forward to it. So. Just keep it coming. I hope that is and now you're not coming with any events. Oh no, wait, we need to wait for loyalty. Oh, no wonder. This still needs a while. Okay, so we need to wait for these guys to be at least at 50. And then we can sell ground land. Alright, so we have our stuff here. Oh, I feel like this is gonna be another arrangement of like a ridiculous amount of stuff. Are these guys gonna go down to 0? Because currently it feels like it. I mean, you have gone more than enough stuff. Valor point, what are you at? 30? I see. It's military again, let's keep deving up. So. Oh, and we can have another army. Sure, we'll do that. I guess I could already do the bigger army, so let's do 18, 8, 10 it was? No, wait, is that feasible? Maybe. Sure. You'll just stand here somewhere. Bum bum a chicka chicka bum bum a chicka chicka bum bum a chicka chicka bum bum. Alright. We are nearly done with this. Just one more loan. I mean, this is also actually looking completely alright. We have a few more transport ships. I think we're gonna give you another set of heavies. What I feel like... Yeah, there we go. Get the fuck out of this coalition. You guys get a general and force march. Temaria! Still allied to Triton? Lovely. We're just gonna wait for these boats to be finished then. And then we can do this. We could also attack just southwards at least. Valor Point is only allied to Dame's Crown and Dryarchy. Oh, you're not allied to the Dryarchy. Do I want that? Boy, that sounds like an awful war. No. No. I'm not willing to do that. Just wait for you guys to get to 50. Bum bum a chicka. I mean, this one is also going to be fairly valuable. Probably will allow us to have some more stating. We are still very heavily on this. How old is the guy? 64. Well, that sounds like giving him some stats. Why not? So, there we go. Time to get some more stuff in. This is gonna cost me a lot of Diplo again, admin again. But we will make use of this territory. And we do gain a lot of admin, so there's that. I probably should also end this episode here, so like always, like to ram shenanigans. I guess see you guys next episode. Bye.